Hey Ava, I'm going to go over your test and correct the problems that you missed, so follow along, listen to the video, and then once you've watched it and you're ready to retake the test, just let me know and I'll reset it for you on GradPoint. So I've already scrolled through the test. The first one you missed is number 4. It says negative 2y plus 16 plus 6y equals 44, and you're asked to solve for y. So in this equation, we have like terms on the left side, so we actually need to combine these two terms together, the negative 2y and the 6y. Negative 2 plus 6 is 4, so we have 4y plus 16 equals 44. We're going to subtract 16 from both sides. That gives 4y equals 28. And then we divide both sides by 4, and we get y equals 7. Because I can't see your work, I'm not really sure where the error was, so just take a look at what I've done. Maybe if you have your work saved from when you took the test, then you can check that. Number 5 says that a copy center offers its customers 2 different pricing plans for black and white photocopies. Customers can either pay 8 cents per page or pay $7.50 for a discount card that lowers the cost to 5 cents per page. Write and solve an equation to find the number of photocopies for which the cost of each plan is the same. So the two plans are going to be side by side. We're going to set them equal to one another. So the first plan, it's 8 cents per page. And again, we're trying to figure out how many, the number of photocopies or the number of pages, to where the two plans cost the same. So the first one is 8 cents per page. So I'm going to use P as my variable. It looks like, I'll change it. Looks like they used C in their equations here. So 8 cents C is equal to, the other plan is $7.50 up front plus 5 cents per page. So you can see that even though it's cheaper per page, you have this cost, this initial cost of $7.50 for the card that you have to offset. So we won't know how many photocopies we can make until it's equal. So now here we have an equation. Oh, I need to change this to a C. So now we have our equation, 8 cents C plus equals $7.50 plus 5 cents C. So we're going to subtract the 5 cents to the other side. And that gives us 0.03 C equals $7.50. Divide both sides by 3 cents. And in a calculator, I'm doing 7.5 divided by 0.03, and it's 250. So at 250 copies, both plans would cost you the same amount of money. So that's this option down here at the bottom. Okay, we'll look at 6 and 7 now. 6 asks you to solve the equation. 9 equals negative d plus 17. So I'm going to write it over here off to the side so you can see my work. We should be subtracting 17 from both sides first. So on the right, that cancels out. 9 minus 17 is 8, negative 8, and it equals negative d. When you see a subtraction sign or negative sign in front of a variable, it actually means negative 1. And that has to be taken care of. So we have to then divide by negative 1 on both sides. So then you'll see negative 8 divided by negative 1 is 8 equals d. Number 7, with 2/3 x minus 6 equals 9. So the first thing we want to do is add 6 to both sides. We always get rid of addition and subtraction first. We always do the opposite of what we see. So that leaves us 2/3 x equals 15. And then we divide by 2/3. Just like if it were a coefficient, we would divide both sides by the coefficient. If it were a whole number, here it just happens to be a fraction, so we're going to divide by the fraction. Now we have to remember how to divide by fractions. You multiply by the reciprocal, so it's 15 times 3/2 instead of 15 divided by 2/3. So I put 15 over 1, and that gives 45 over 2. So x equals 45 over 2. And it looks like they've changed 45 over 2 to a mixed number. 45 over 2 is 22.5. Okay, number 8 says that John and 4 friends are going out for pizza for lunch. They split 1 pizza and 5 large drinks. The pizza cost $10. After using a $4 gift certificate, they spend a total of $13.50. Write an equation to model the situation and find the cost of 1 large drink. So we're going to look at the cost of everything first. They have $10 for the pizza. They have 5 large drinks. We don't know how much the drinks cost, and it looks like they use the variable D. And they have a $4 gift certificate. So $10 for the pizza plus 5 times the amount of the drinks, subtracting the $4, and it says that they spent 13 altogether. So there's the equation that we would write. You'll notice that they just put the 10 and the 4 together, and I just have them on opposite sides of the 5D. That's still okay, I'll get the same answer. And then we want to combine like terms, so that's 5D plus $6 equals $13. We're going to subtract 6 from both sides. 5D equals $7. Then divide both sides by 5. So in a calculator you're doing 7 divided by 5. We're talking about money. And actually I'm looking over to the side here, and it should have been $13.50, not $13. So that's going to change this here. $13.50. So that's $7.50. So now you're doing 7.5 divided by 5, and that's $1.50. So each drink costs $1.50. And as I was looking over this next equation, and I haven't watched your lesson about what is the identity that they're trying to get you to highlight here, but basically what you need to be able to show is that the left side and the right side equal one another. And on the equation that they've selected as the correct answer, if I write it off to the side here, 3w plus 8 minus w equals 4w minus 2 times w minus 4. I'm going to go ahead and distribute. So that's 4w, negative 2 times w. I think of those subtraction signs as negatives, so it's minus 2w. Then you have negative 2 and then a negative 4, so it's a positive 8. Over here we have 3w plus 8 minus w. If we combine our like terms on each side, we get 2w plus 8 equals 2w plus 8. And so that's the one I would select because that's the only one where the left side equals the right side. You would have to kind of check this out for each one and kind of clean things up. So for example, on this first answer over here, this answer choice, 7m minus m is 6m, but the 9 and the 6 would, negative 6 would not equal one another, so that's why that one's not wrong. Number 11 is asking you to solve an equation. We have a whole bunch of like terms over here on the left-hand side. 8d plus 3d minus 3d. The positive 3d and the negative 3d cancel each other out. So we end up with 8d minus 8 equals 3d. I like to move, when I'm getting my variables on the same side, I like to move the smaller variable over to the side with the larger variable. That way I don't have to deal with negative coefficients. So I'm subtracting 3d from both sides. So I get 5d minus 8 equals 0. I have to add 8 to both sides. It's important that you don't forget this placeholder because you subtract the 3Ds away from one another. You do have to have a 0 there as a placeholder. So that's 5D equals 8. Then if we divide both sides by 8, I'll have to show that over here. Or excuse me, divide both sides by 5. We get that D equals 8/5. Okay, it looks like the last one to correct is number 14. So a camera manufacturer spends $1,800 each day for overhead expenses plus $9 per camera for labor and materials. The cameras sell for $18 each. The first question is, how many cameras must the company sell in one day to equal its daily costs? And then the second question, if the manufacturer can increase production by 50 cameras per day, what would their daily profit be? So what we want to know, when does the cost of making the cameras equal the profit or the amount that it sells? So they spend, first we're going to document how much the company spends. Whoops. $1,800 plus $9 per camera. And we're not sure how many cameras they make. And they sell for $18 each. So we want to know, when does the cost to make the cameras equal the profit from selling them? So again, we want to get variables on both sides, or on the same side. Subtract 9C, and that gives us 1,800 equals 9C, 18 minus 9. Then we divide both sides by 9. And you do 1,800 divided by 9, you get 200. So 200 cameras they have to sell just in one day to make a profit. So that rules out this one and this one. Now the question is, if they can increase production by 50 cameras per day, what would their profit be? Well, we know that if they sell 200, they're going to break even. So we just need to figure out how much would 50 cameras make them. So if it's $18 per camera, we want to do 18 times 50. So 18 times 50 is 900. But the reason why it's not this answer is because we have to remember that it still costs them $9 per camera. So then we do 9 times 50, and that's $450. So for 50 additional cameras, it's going to cost them $450 extra dollars. Remember, this $1,800 is just a one-day fee that they pay. So now we do 900 minus 450, and that gives us 450 as an answer. So hopefully this helps. Make sure you take a look at this video. If you have other questions, feel free to shoot me an email, and I can get back to you as quickly as I can. Typically during the school day, it's hard to get back to you until the end of the day unless you catch me before my prep period, which is like at 9:30. So again, let me know if you have questions and when you're ready to retake the test.